Hello, everybody. This is another episode of Tales and Ales. I'd like to put into context where we're at right now and who I'm sitting with. First, I'm going to say where we're at. Where are we?
We're on something that seems to be rocking. It looks like a boat.
It's not a trailer.
And where are we? I have no idea
It's not
where
a
we
trailer
are.
rocking.
It's not a trailer rocking, and I have no idea where we really are in the world.
Well, we're on the Cayamo cruise. It's a singer-songwriter showcase. It's like a music festival on a boat, and I'm really privileged to be sitting here in Bliss Lounge with a very talented man, a living legend, Buddy Miller. How are you, buddy?
I'm doing good, Paul. Good to see you.
That's good.
I don't know where we're in a boat in the middle of the ocean someplace.
I know that we're going to stop in Jamaica and do whatever we want to do there, and we're going to stop in Mexico, and we're going to pat a monkey in a diaper for $10 and get a picture if we want.
I'll do that.
Okay, yeah.
I'll do that, yeah.
And but anyway, right now I just want to find out a little bit about what's going on with you, man. Before here, I understand you had some flood damage. What happened?
Oh, yeah.
What happened?
In Nashville, just before we left out on this cruise, I guess we had some bad rains, torrential rains. We had a flood in Nashville 8 years ago that was so bad that the downtown was flooded, the Ryman was flooded, Country Music Hall of Fame, if I'm not mistaken, was flooded. The downtown Broadway, if you've been to Nashville, just down like in between 1st and 4th, I think there were like, people getting around in boats.
Wow.
That was 8 years ago. This wasn't nearly that bad, but in my neighborhood, it was as bad, and I had a place with 5 foot of
You have some
water.
Personal damage?
Yeah, and one of my places had some 5 foot of water. Hey, my manager, Kathy Whitley, I think you probably know Kathy. I love Kathy. There's 2 pictures on her Facebook of her house. This is the 8 year ago flood.
Yeah.
And if you look at them, they're kind of very similar looking, but if you look a little closer, you'll notice there's a tree in front of the house and one, not a tree in front of the other one, because the water picked up her house, moved it, and it stopped.
Oh, my Lord.
And she lost everything.
Ooh.
So, the water can be dangerous. And then the irritating thing is the day after, it's beautiful, and you got to deal with it. But anyway,
right.
that's
well,
just life.
I'm sorry that happened, man. But what's going on is good that you're happy about right now.
This boat, man, I love this boat.
Yeah.
I love being in this room. I made a record in this room.
You did?
Bliss Lounge, yeah, on
Tell
Cayamo.
me about that.
Yeah, on Cayamo, because I've been on this thing almost every year.
Yeah?
I think this is the 14th year. I missed one 10 years ago because the week before, I forgot the boat was coming up, and I had I was on the road with Emmylou Harris and Sean Colvin and Patty Griffin, and my last song, we were all doing songs. My last one I sang, I had a heart situation.
You had a heart attack?
I had it seemed to be, yeah. I knew it was happening.
How did you know it was coming?
Well, the night.
How would it feel like?
The night, and this could be educational.
All right.
It was night before I got back from eating a big dinner with the girls, and they would, put their food that they didn't want to eat because they're dainty eaters on my plate, and I'd finish it all. It was a lot of blackened fish, and about 3 in the morning, I felt like what was the worst heartburn I'd ever had in my life, and I was getting all sweaty, and it was really painful, and it was too late to go out looking for Rolaids or something, so I just laid as still as I could for about 2 hours, and it went away. Next night at the gig in Baltimore, same thing happened in my last song, and I realized, oh crud, I didn't eat tonight. So I knew heart, problems ran in my family.
Yeah.
I asked, anybody got an aspirin? Because I knew you're supposed to chew an aspirin. No, just Tylenol. So I had a guest I went down and had a beer with, and then I couldn't make it back up the stairs.
Ooh.
And they took me to, fortunately, my tour manager, who's on the boat this year, Carolyn Rosenfeld, said, there's a close hospital and then there's a great hospital. And she went a little further, took me to Johns Hopkins. They said, you need emergency triple bypass.
Oh, Lord.
And that's when they kind of saw you open.
They did that to you?
Yeah. Crack it open. I guess they take it out and screw around with it, and took out something from my leg and put it in there. And I was on when they were telling, I was lying on the table with the screens going on, doctors yelling. They called my wife saying, it doesn't look good, you should get here.
Were you afraid?
And I told them, no, I wasn't. Not only was I not afraid, they said you need an emergency triple bypass. I said, that's cool, ma'am. The bus leaves at 8. I just got to be on the bus at 8 in the morning. So
Now
I had no idea. I had no idea what it was.
Yeah, you didn't. You can't recover that quick.
No, it was brutal for a week or three.
You'd have to get under the. You'd have to be touched by Benny Hinn to get that kind of speedy.
I don't know if I'd want to be touched by Benny.
Well, I've seen him knock a whole front row down.
I know.
Have you seen that?
I've seen those rows go down, but I wonder what else is involved in that.
Yeah, that's a
whole other show.
It is, isn't it? Yeah, I could talk about that kind of stuff all day. My daddy was a Pentecostal preacher.
Yeah.
You know, I've seen what's in front of the curtain, and I've seen what's behind the curtain. If you know what I'm saying.
And you know, there's a lot of good, and there's a lot of bad. It just depends on where you're where you're getting it from.
Everywhere you go, the group of people you meet, the same characters are in every group.
Yeah.
I've noticed that.
You are right.
Yeah. So it's just like basic rules. Like 2 women can get along real good, but if you bring a third one in, one of them's gonna get kicked out. I've seen it because women are vicious. They can be.
Well, men can be too. We got to make this fair and not sexist. We can get in big trouble.
Oh yeah, I know. I don't. You can't. You have to be careful about what you say these days, or they'll take everything you got and ruin you.
Yeah.
You know
We're
what
ruined.
I mean?
We're ruined now.
Well,
yeah. But
I take it back. I don't know this guy.
But to make, I got off track. But yeah, so on the Cayamo years, over 3 years, I liked it so much. The collaborations, like we're getting together,
Right.
and musical collaborations, I just thought there weren't enough of them, and so I engineered some of that and did a duets record in here over 3 years with me and my band. I brought an engineer, a bunch of gear, and did duets with like Lucinda and Casey Musgraves, Richard Thompson, Chris Christopherson, like 13, 14 different acts. And New West Records put it out.
Yeah.
And I liked it because I could go lie down.
That's
in
awesome.
between takes.
Yeah, y'all can make an adult film if the mood hit you.
Wait, there might be one out there.
Yeah. I don't know a whole lot about your personal life, but I know that you have a large body of work with I don't know if she's still your wife or was your wife.
She is, and I have a feeling, is that her calling right now?
Well, see what she is.
It is. I just want to show you that is her calling right now.
Tell her, see what she wants.
Okay, I will. Hold on a second.
All right. You and her been together how long?
I'm not good at math, but
Well, you
since
just make
like
up something.
81 is what? 38 years, 37 years, something like that.
Y'all still on?
It's still day to day.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're still working it out.
Do y'all? I know. You never completely get it figured out. You know, it's like my papa, who's dead now. They had his 75th wedding anniversary celebration, and my grandma Lucille. They had like a dating game, little spoof thing, just for fun. And they asked my grandfather. They said, "Well, WC, when was the first time you kissed Lucille?" And he said, "I believe it was after my second son was born." but anyway, there's a couple questions I wanted to ask. One, what are you working on right now?
Well, I just finished a record with my wife.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I'm not aware of it.
Her name's Julie Miller, or
Yeah,
her name's Mrs. Miller.
Oh, I got you.
And yeah, she's a great writer.
Yeah.
We did a few. I think we did 2 records under our name, Buddy and Julie Miller. But really, anything I've done, and anything she's done, it's been the both of us.
Yeah.
She's more of a writer than I am.
Really?
She's a great writer. Yeah. She's a really good writer. A lot of people have recorded her songs, but she writes just for herself. It's just been an accidental thing when people have recorded them. And she hadn't been feeling good, and I kind of like took every gig that came along, like every any great gig, whether it's working on a TV show or playing with Robert Plant or in Blue or anything, I would put that over.
Yeah.
Working together, and after 10 years of doing that kind of took a toll on marriage. So I decided, I don't need to do other stuff. I'm staying home and trying to make up for what a jerk I was.
Well, that's good that you look at it like that. And I had a question. You ever fixing to ask something and then you forget it right before it comes out?
Every day, yeah.
That just happened to me. Well, I'll ask another question that I do remember. I asked all the artists this, and you don't have to go there if you don't want to, but because everybody has a different way of looking at it. But what do you think happens when the lights go out? That's a big one, I know, but Can you give me a Cliff Note version, or can you say anything about it?
It's there, and I'm I'd rather be ready for it being there than no plan.
How do you define being ready for it?
I don't know. Just trying to live my life with an awareness of something of
something bigger than us.
Yeah.
Yeah. I met you first time on the Delbert McClinton cruise.
Right, that's right.
Yeah, and you had this really cool, funny-looking guitar. It looked like something you would get at Sanford and Son Junkyard, and I mean that as a compliment.
Yeah.
What is that guitar?
It's called a Vondre, but I didn't even know what it was called for the first 6-7 years of me owning it. I found it in a pawn shop in Colorado when I was on tour playing there.
Yeah.
It was hanging in a window, it never sold. It's made in the early 60s.
Is it a cheapo guitar?
It's an Italian guitar. I don't, there's a lot of thought in the put into the design and the making of it. It's Italian. It's from early 60s. It has I would have brought it down.
I love that thing. It's cool.
It's all I could ever play. It's gotten stolen. When we moved from Austin to New York in 1980, which was a stupid move, and another story all in itself. Why do you do that? To play country music. But it got stolen up there, and I put signs on telephone poles in Union City, New Jersey, and drew a picture of it, and I got it back because I think whoever stole it thought it's not a Gibson, it's not a Fender, it's a piece of junk. A guy called me up, said, I think I found your guitar under my truck, and sure enough,
he may have been the one that took it.
Maybe
he may have been embarrassed. About what he did.
They took a mixing board and they took the guitar and never got the board again.
Yeah.
But the guitar came back, so it's been the only thing I've played. It's with me now.
I love that thing, and you shred on that thing too, man.
Well, I'm sorry.
You shred.
I can't shred.
No, you're a rock star, man.
Yeah.
Speaking of being a rock star, would you mind sharing a number with us?
No, not at all.
Sing a song. Well, you pick it, man.
Me? Just
okay. You pick it. I'm just gonna sit back and listen.
Okay. So, all right. Let me see. I'll play one of Julie's songs.
Okay.
How's that? Since she keeps calling, maybe she'll call in the middle of it, and we can make a duet out of it.
That'd be some good brownie points.
When I go, don't cry for me. In my Father's arms I'll be. The wounds this world left on my soul will all be healed. I'll be whole. Sun and moon will be replaced with the light of Jesus' face. And I will not be ashamed, for my Savior knows my name. It don't matter where you bury me, I'll be home and I'll be free. It don't matter where I lay, all my tears be washed away. Gold and silver blind the eye, temporary riches lie. So come and eat from heaven's store, come and drink and thirst no more. So weep not for me, my friend, when my time below does end. For my life belongs to Him who will raise the dead again. It don't matter where you bury me, I'll be home and I'll be free. It don't matter where I lay, all my tears be washed away.
gospel song.
It
man.
is a gospel song.
I love gospel music.
Although she wrote that as a gospel song and then rewrote the lyrics as a secular song for my first record. But yeah,
Well,
it was written as a gospel song when our friend Mark Hurd, who was a kind of singer-songwriter in that world, passed away.
what was his name?
Mark Hurd.
I don't think
He's
I
a
know
really
him.
good. Yeah, he died probably in, gosh, early 90s.
Yeah.
Yeah, 91, 92.
I'm sorry to hear that. I'm sorry you had some flood damage. I'm sorry for all problems you have in life. I'm sorry.
But
about
it's
it.
not your fault.
Oh, but I know it. But I wish I could help more than I can. You know? But anyway, I want to thank you for doing this. I'm a big fan of yours. And you're
Well,
a good
likewise,
guy.
likewise. I'm a big
And,
fan of yours.
One thing I like about you is you smile a lot.
I don't
A lot. That's a lost art. People don't smile enough.
They don't. Well,
No.
it must be. It's covering up something, I'm sure.
Well, like the kids on the cell phones working behind the counter at McDonald's in that culture, they don't even know how to greet you.
Oh well.
They don't even know how to say, "Hey, how are you? What's going on?" They just look down and say, "What you want?"
Oh.
You know. But anyway,
I like people.
I do too. I love people, man. I got that from my two big heroes, Muhammad Ali and Mr. Rogers.
All right. Yeah.
They both love
Yeah.
people.
Yeah.
And
People
that's,
are wonderful.
They really are. And you know, there's good and bad in all of us. And but this has been nothing but good. And I recorded one of your songs.
Yeah.
I did. I've only done one covers album in my whole. I've done like 13 records, and
I know.
I did one that was a cover album, and your song was on
I love
there.
all your records. Yeah, that blew my mind when you did that.
Yeah, I mean that's that's. I thought you needed to make $50. You know.
You did a great version of that. I love it.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, you know, if you ever had some, you ain't got to call no names. I've had a lot of cuts. You've had a lot of cuts. Sometimes they butcher your song, but you have to use that smile I was talking about.
That I was thinking the same thing. The
but
first
don't
time.
say who it is.
Okay, I wasn't going to say who it was.
You could be. It could be me if I wasn't
No,
here.
this is. We had our first big country cut. They said, "You want to come down and hear what?" No.
Yeah.
How it sounds, and I just went in there, and it was like, I just had this smile. It was a different smile, though. You know, when you smile and when you don't mean to smile, it's like.
What did you? What can you say? What can you verbally say?
I think what I
Thank
said
you.
was, man, that's a lot of crash cymbals. They find like in pop music, they need to It's like punctuation. You have to.
Yeah.
You have to put it at the beginning and end of every sentence.
Well, I've always thought
Back to
symbols
the
are the enemy.
Yeah, you know what?
Symbols
I have
are
my
the
drummer.
enemy.
You don't need this thing up here. What's it for anyway? You know, you don't have to hit it.
Okay, everybody, that's another episode of Tails and Nails. We're on the Cayamo cruise, and we just want to thank Buddy, and we want to thank everybody
you.
out there that's watching, and say a little prayer for somebody tonight. See you later.
Thanks, Paul. That's great.
Yeah, it was fun.